just initiated the launch sequence for our first live webcast ever in honor of the 30th anniversary, first performance of the Reduced Shakespeare Company. We're about to go live.
Begin talking? No, I can't possibly. Are we live? We are, yes, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reduced Shakespeare Company's first ever live webcast via Ustream. I'm Austin Tichenor, one of the current owners, managing partners of the Reduced Shakespeare Company, joined by Reed Martin, my fellow co-owner of the Reduced Shakespeare Company, and we are honored to have with us today the founding three of the 5 founding members of the Reduced Shakespeare Company.
We'll get into the numbers later. This is the sort of stuff that
we're going to be talking about. All right, we'll get into the numbers later. Let me introduce them to you now. Of course, on my right, you have the original Hamlet, the original Macbeth, the original
Titus Andronicus.
Titus Andronicus.
My other favorite roles would have been the guy on the right in the comedy.
The guy on the right in the comedy is Jess Winfield, sitting right to my right. On the left, sitting next to Reed Martin, is the original Reduced Shakespeare Company props and costume goddess, Sa Winfield, right there. She has already explained to us she will not be on roller skates today. We are all very disappointed about that. And sitting here in the middle, in the place of honor, in the center where he should be, the man whose idea it all was, to begin with, Daniel Singer, the founder of the Reduced Shakespeare Company.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So we are here on the beautiful balcony of the Stone Tree Golf Course, the site, or very near the site, of the very first performance. Can you guys, Jess, Daniel, Sa, explain to us where we are, what sort of hallowed ground we're sitting on?
Well, all right, so right now there's a beautiful golf course, several McMansions dotting the hillsides, but this was the site of the Northern Renaissance Fair for, I'm guessing, around 25 years, from the 70s through the 80s and into the early 90s. So the Reduced Shakespeare Company started here its very first performance in 1981, 30 years ago today.
Wow.
Now, that original performance was Hamlet, being done as a half an hour long show, and the original cast was myself and Jess and 2 other people who aren't here today because we forgot to invite them. But if you're listening, Barbara Reinertson and Michael Fleming. Hi, Barbara.
Here's to Barbara. Here's to Michael.
Barbara, I friended you on Facebook and you haven't responded yet.
Please, Barbara, what's up?
That
Come
is
on.
so like Barbara.
So the story about the evolution of the cast on that of that first team that did Hamlet is kind of famous, but Barbara took a famous tumble on about the second weekend of the fair and broke her ankle and couldn't go on. Or actually, she could go on, but it was in a lot of pain, and it just didn't really suit the character of Ophelia and Gertrude.
We leave giving pain to the audience, usually.
Until later when it did.
Yeah, we drowned her. We drowned and killed them both, but anyway.
So that's when Adam Long, who had auditioned for the original company, but wasn't quite what I was looking for at the time, stepped into Barbara's roles on the 3rd weekend of performances, so later in August 1981. Adam assumed the roles of Ophelia and Gertrude, and the rest is history. But what was funny about Barbara Reinertson was that, God bless her, a delightful woman and a wonderful actress, and once Adam took over her roles, the show sort of moved on, and Barbara insisted with her leg in a cast up to her hip on going back on stage, darn it, to make sure that Adam didn't completely usurp her role. And so for the rest of the run, we had dueling Ophelias. Adam would do some shows, and Barbara would do others, and it was a delightful chaos of a nightmare.
Barbara, mind you, actually going around on stage on crutches with her foot extended, the trooper that she was.
And how did she do the flip onto her back with the crutches and everything?
But that's even before Anthony Sher did his famous Richard III on on crutches. So she was really very much ahead of her time.
Indeed, indeed. See,
That's
Austin,
the other RSC.
Austin, I always thought you did the pedant so well. I mean, I always loved doing Hamlet, but I thought you out pedanted even.
Well, now, but this is an interesting conversation because I'm interested in the differences between our two Hamlets. We're jumping out of any sort of.
Oh, just go there. We have 2 hours.
We have 2 hours to kill.